Happy Friday, everyone. We are ending the week very strong. Well, crypto never sleeps, so not ending the week really, but point is that markets are looking prime right now. So today in the show, what we're going to talk about is this indicator just flashed, which signals to me that we are likely in the beginning of the parabola stage, which is where things get really, really exciting. But could this be a fake out? We'll talk about that as well, and why I think that we could be set up for an entire crypto market cap to increase by 10x or more, and what that means for altcoins. Because if Bitcoin goes like 5x, that means our alts are going to fly like 30 to 50x potentially. Without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Remember, I have to say this. None of this is financial advice. Everything that I tell you guys here is what I'm doing with my own personal money. I'm a partner in an LP fund, MV Capital, and this channel is just what I do with my own personal cash on the side when I'm having fun, and just generally what I'm doing. You know, after my 12 years in the space, I'm here to share my knowledge with you guys. So hopefully you guys can learn from some of the mistakes that I've made, and if you're interested in looking at the things that I'm looking at, then that's why I make this content. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it and check out this Bitcoin chart over here. And you can see that we are on the hourly here, looking pretty good. What happened to my lines that I drew before? I don't know where they went. But anyway, what is this? So anyway, we're backing. Oh, that's the hourly. That's why. Let's look at the daily. Here we go. So this is a strong daily candle. It looks, to me, this looks great. But just remember that it could be a fake out. But we're going to talk about why, some of the things that support why I believe it's not, and why I believe that it was a good call. What was it, a week ago, 10 days ago, when maybe even 2 weeks ago, when we started saying DCAing into the market would be a good idea, because if you had, you'd picked up some of the things at really good value. So let's talk about first, in order to know where we're going, we must know where we came from and what caused the last bear market. And it comes down to just tightening monetary supply, or tightening monetary policy, or quantitative tightening, right? And so you can see here it says, Bitcoin's growth has tracked global money supply growth. The stimulus provided by central banks and governments, including the U.S. Federal Reserve, throughout the pandemic was a key driver of the crypto bull market. As the Fed indicated in 2021 and late 2021, it would raise interest rates and decrease its balance sheets, i.e. tightening the money supply. The crypto markets weakened and actually crumbled. So we are going to do a better job this cycle, and we're going to know what to look for. And next week, I'm actually going to make a video to show you how to call the Pico top and the Pico bottom. I know that sounds crazy, but you will see next week when I make this video. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss that, because it's going to be huge. So we had the Jerome Powell meeting come out, and it was actually more bullish than people expected. There was no change in the rates at all, but he essentially hinted at, in different language, quantitative easing. You can see here from Arthur Hayes' blog, basically he's summing up what Jerome Powell was saying as in quantitative QT taper equals quantitative easing. And he goes into saying, when the average Muppet equates quantitative easing with printing money and inflation, it spells trouble for the elites. Therefore, they need to change up the nomenclature and method of providing the junkie, that is the fiat financial system, its hit of monetary heroin, reducing the pace of asset runoffs from the Fed's balance sheet in accordance with their quantitative tightening program sounds benign. But make no mistake, by reducing the rate of quantitative tightening from 95 billion to 60 billion per month, the Fed is essentially adding 35 billion a month of liquidity per month. And he goes down and breaks it all down into some sheets over here and shows you that at the end of the day, this move that's going to start in June equates to a almost 65% increase in money supply that we are now going to be able to see coming back into the markets. So even though they haven't said they're going into quantitative easing and they're easing off of quantitative tightening, essentially it still means more risk on behavior. So while it might have seemed like a boring meeting, it actually had severe impact, and I think this is what the markets are reflecting. Initially, we thought that there was going to be several rate cuts throughout 2024. However, now it seems like we just might have one. The markets are kind of pricing that in, and to be in November. So if this is true, it would line up pretty perfectly for putting us, this would feel to me like the equivalent of 2020 post-halving 4 years ago. It would make sense. And I'll show you why that's relevant in just a minute here and why it's actually very, very exciting. Very exciting. So here is the signal that I was talking about. M2 money supply has flipped positive. If you aren't familiar with the M2 money supply, it is essentially how much money is in circulation. And you can see here that this mimics our crypto market cycle pretty exactly well, right? It shows you here that into 2020, when we started seeing the money being very, very easily available and readily available, and then we see here started to come down. We should have known better and maybe started to look at exiting positions around here and then bid all out by here. Obviously, if we would have taken out. So, but this is the important part here. This little Bitcoin guy over here. We finally see, for in such a long time, this tick positive again. And meaning that there's actually being more money put into circulation than taken out of circulation. This is good for the markets. That means the Fed's going to go buy assets, pump the markets. Again, it's an election year, right? So this is what we've been saying all along. And if you have been DCing into the markets, then you weren't alone. The whales also accumulated $3 billion in Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. Pretty insane. And I misspoke or misreported yesterday on Mr. 100 buying up, what did I say, 3,100 Bitcoin? Turns out it was actually like 4,340 Bitcoin in yesterday's dip. He bought $250 million of Bitcoin. This is, who knows what this is. We talk about it a lot. If you guys have any idea who Mr. 100 is or any speculation, let us know in the comments below. You think it's North Korea? You think it's Saudi? You think it's Dubai? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Or if it's just like some really rich guy. You know, it's worth, maybe it's Musky. It could be Musk, right? Why not? Probably Musk. Justin, Fidelity says pension funds are starting to explore investing into Bitcoin and crypto. So this is the same message that we had yesterday, but yesterday it came from BlackRock. And we know that the second largest US ETF asset manager is Fidelity. So they're both now reporting that they're having these deep discussions with the largest asset managers in America, which are pension funds and endowments and things like that. That's $10 trillion that could be looking to allocate some percentage of that portfolio into Bitcoin. Likely they'll start off a bit more conservative. Maybe it's be 0.5%, 1%. 1% is still $100 million. So that would be very nice, but maybe likely will be a little bit more than that. But they don't care. They're not here for short term, so they might even increase that over time, which I would expect that they would, especially considering the other investments aren't really doing so well, especially not compared to Bitcoin. If you saw yesterday's show, I showed you that at the past 11 years, Bitcoin has outperformed in 8 of those years, and so it just is the obvious choice. And of all the years cumulatively, it's obviously been the best choice. Another indicator is here that we have finally the short-term holders have stopped paper handing it. If you can see over here, which has been a great thing. So the short-term holders, CoinDay's accumulated metric has increased by 112 points over the day. This indicates that short-term holders have stopped moving coins over the past 24 hours. And like I said before, Alex says this in a different way. When you think it's safe to buy, it's probably not. And when you think it's not safe, it's probably a good time to buy. So another way of saying when others are fearful, be greedy, and when everyone else is greedy, be fearful. Just makes a lot of sense, and this is why we have to learn how to play the market mentally and logically rather than emotionally. So this is why I repeat this content for you guys a lot, just to kind of drill that in your head, because when I first started in this space, there was no one doing YouTube channels at all. And I had to figure out a lot of things the hard way. You're fortunate now to have, people with experience coming and bringing their, all this knowledge to help you try to execute better in your first bull market or your second bull market than we did, for example. So Jack Dorsey, you guys know, founder of Twitter, or X, he now has this company Block, and he said publicly that he's going to put 10% of the gross profit from Bitcoin products. Like, okay, Jack, like, cool. I don't know how much money Block is making. I have no idea what that equates to, but it's another company from a very prominent figure, Jack, who says he's going to be adding Bitcoin to their company's balance sheet, which is it's just one more big company publicly saying that they're backing Bitcoin, essentially. And while the US ETFs have been rather slow, we did see that yesterday was a relatively mild day compared to the day before, which was massive, worth only 34 million negative outflows. So GBDC, another day of 55 million. Grayscale BlackRock at 0, and some other small days for some of these guys offset this. So negative 34 million, not so bad. And when we look at the actual final numbers that have come in from Hong Kong, they apparently don't have the same reporting requirements over there, or publicly have to state it in the same amount of time they do in the US, because we get this data much later. But it turns out that Hong Kong actually has $427 million of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs under management. So not a bad start. We'll see. The data still hasn't come in from day 2, I believe, unless some of this includes day 2. I don't know. But that's making up for. So now the East has their chance to get in on the action as well. And it's good that they got to come in on a healthy dip, because that's what it did. If we would have just kept going up straight, it would have been too risky for anyone to buy in. Sophisticated investors know that you don't want to buy, you don't want to chase green candles. It's green. It's been green. You're waiting. Eventually, people are going to take profit and come out, and you're gonna want to come in when that correction happens, just like it just did, to give us a healthy reset and redistribution, so people can take their profits, sell their coins to new fresh money, and now the fresh money you're buying at this, and they're break even, right? So then they're going to wait until they can make some profits to cash out, and then another correction, and so on and so forth. So that's how the market works. You can see fundamentally it's still strong as ever, as a hash rate is at near all-time highs. And let's just recap from Quinton over here about Hong Kong, the Bitcoin's successes this year. You had Hong Kong Bitcoin ETF in ETH ETFs. BNY Mellon, America's oldest bank, reported exposure to Bitcoin ETFs. Morgan Stanley, about to allow 15,000 brokers to recommend Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. Australia, about to approve Bitcoin ETF. Okay, Aussies, welcome aboard, Aussies. London Stock Exchange is listing BTC ETNs. Same thing. It's an ETF. South Korea is allowing Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, all right. Supply on exchanges is at record lows. OTC desks are running dry. So when OTC desks are low, meaning that people can't buy Bitcoin over the counter from brokers, they must buy on an exchange or directly from the miners. But the miners, their supply has been reduced by 50% because of the halving. So they have to go to low liquid markets like exchanges and buy it there, which they hadn't had to do in the past. Historically, they could always buy it from OTC desks in large amounts. Like they could buy $1 billion, $2 billion from an OTC desk, and they wouldn't affect the price of Bitcoin at all. We had the most successful ETF launch in history ever. The FASB accounting rules at the end of the year, which Michael Saylor was very bullish about. We talked about that in a video before. Governments debasing the currency like never before. If you don't remember, we talked about this in a video that the US dollar has lost 25% of its purchasing power within the last 4 years. Negative funding and bearish sentiment. This is good as well. And so that is just a quick recap. Now, when I say 10x, let's look at this chart for a second. So where do I feel like we are here now? Well, if you go back to 2020 and you look at here, so right around here was probably right around here somewhere was probably the April, yeah, the halving was somewhere, I don't remember the exact date, but it's somewhere in here, right? And then you have this correction afterwards, and then another run up, and then another coming up here. So maybe we're about at this level, potentially somewhere between here and here. But look how much more we have to go from here all the way up to here. That's the last run, right? And look how gigantic 2021 looks on the graph here on the chart compared to the 2017 bull run, which in my opinion, to me, I don't know, just to me, this one just seemed way crazier than 2021. But this next one that we're coming into right now is going to make this 2021 bull run look like a walk in the park. In my opinion, I think we're just going to, way up here, and you're going to see this huge line for Bitcoin. My thought is somewhere up here, right? So you're going to see this crazy, and if Bitcoin goes up there, what do you think is going to happen to alts? So when this happens, if it happens, let's be prepared, and let's not forget that eventually this ends up happening, and we end up here wondering why we didn't sell back here or here or here or here or here. So we're going to do our best, and like I said, next week I'll make a video to try to help understand what causes these, and a little bit of OPSEC, or operational security, for you. So you're in crypto. It's a PvP environment. Everyone's out to get each other. I don't like to think of it like that, but there are people that are looking to get your crypto. And I want to make you aware of this scam that happened, because it could easily happen to anyone. So looks on chain says, crazy. Someone lost 1,155 wrapped Bitcoin, $71 million due to a phishing attack. How did it happen? 6 hours ago, this guy created a new address. Here's the address. And transferred 0.05 ETH to his new address. A scammer generated an address with the same starting and ending letters, and he transferred 0 ETH to him. So the transfer appears in his transaction history. Since many wallets hide the middle part of the address with ... to make a UI look better, when he wanted to transfer wrapped Bitcoin to his new address, he mistakenly copied the address generated by the scammer, because the two addresses have the same starting and ending letters. So he transferred 1,155 wrapped Bitcoin to the scammer. Holy crap. So I mean, this is a mistake that easily anyone can make. Now, I use Rabby wallet mostly, and I like it a lot better than MetaMask. So if you guys haven't tried Rabby, I suggest that you go do it. But what's interesting about that is that when I transfer assets to another wallet that I have the private key to, it allows me to do it and whitelist that address automatically. But if I were to have tried to make the same mistake in Rabby wallet, for example, it would have made me put in a password, my master password, because this is a new address that I've never sent any money to, and I don't have the private keys to, the scammer. And so I would have thought to myself, this is weird. Why? I'm trying to send to myself, but it's asking me to put a password in. What's going on here? And then I probably would have, hopefully, I mean, at this point, you have to understand, just always have your defense mode on. But I would have stopped and said, oh, this is weird. And then I would have checked the address and realized, wait, that's not my address. Almost. And if you're doing massive amounts, like a big amount to yourself, make sure you do a test transaction first every time. This is still, I've been doing this since 2012, test transactions, and I still do them today. It still makes me nervous. This is why in the current UI, it's not quite ready for mainstream adoption yet, but it is the way it is. Not only did this happen, but the same scam happened for another $68 million as well the same day. So be careful out there. And also make sure that you guys are using a VPN when you're browsing. And if you want one, use NordVPN. It's one of the best. It's what I use. It's great. I have it at my mobile, I have it at my PC. I mean, especially when you're out at conferences, if you're at hotels, public Wi-Fi, like you can really have people easily steal your information, steal your stuff if you're not using a VPN. And it's a really good deal if you use the link in the description below. You guys get 60% off. It comes out to less than $3 a month. And if you pay for 2 years ahead, which I do, you get an extra 4 months, I believe, or something like that. So check out the link below, guys. Protect yourself. This is it's your money and cyber world we're talking about here. Be careful. So I don't exactly agree with this statement, but Murad says no one will buy techie alts anymore because no one cares about tech. People care about making money. Meme coins will go up because retail will show them with 100x intensity of techie alts. It's happening. VCs are fucked. So I don't think that's true. Like I said in the video yesterday, the typical rotation of capital goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to large caps to mid caps to micro caps. And like I said yesterday in the video, there's anomalies, there's exceptions to the rule all the time. And meme coins and AI this season seem to have been exceptions to that, where even the small and mid caps pumped as well. And obviously in memes as well. So, but inevitably, as a lot of people come in, they will still, there's going to be plenty of people that want to buy memes, but there's going to be other people that want to come in and buy, you know, they're going to get into crypto. They're going to want to have more long-term mindsets. They're not going to, they don't like casinos, and they're going to want to look for more quality investments. But I do agree that people want to make money. And so this is why I didn't pull up a tab or anything like that, but this is why I'm very bullish on Paid and Commonwealth, the two projects that we're part of, that we're incubating, because they help people make money. That's why the name of Paid is Get Paid. And Commonwealth is the wealth for the 99%. So, and then when you look at the way that the economy works in those, it's really, really just genius, if I do say so myself. If we look at Banter Bubbles, things are green. Things are green. It's looking good, but be careful, guys. I mean, I would say, like I said before, whatever it was, like 2 weeks ago, whatever, dollar cost averaging in, I would continue that. Maybe I'd step it up a little bit more if you had 30 days of DCAing in or something. Maybe you can make it a bit more aggressive, but you have to remember that if Bitcoin coughs, altcoins catch a cold, meaning that if Bitcoin goes down just a little bit, altcoins go down 10 times harder. So just be careful, and we don't have a confirmation yet that we're out of this kind of rut. But you know, from the things that we went over today, it does seem pretty bullish, but you never know, right? The markets like to psychologically F you up, and be prepared for that. So let's talk about some meme coins. I just noticed, I bought a bag of this a while ago, I think shortly after I bought Tucker. And I haven't really mentioned it because I don't really think this is a good version of Joe Rogan. I wish he would have done a better job. But he does seem to be making quality content. I'm not going to play this one for you, but if you go check it out, it's Joe Rogan coin. And I actually was kind of confused over here because this one is, yeah, it's pumping right now. You can see also why doesn't it show you where I bought it in? The thing is too, guys, is that it's, even though I don't think I mentioned it, I don't believe I mentioned it before, you can see that it's not much higher than actually where I did end up buying it. So I don't know why it's not showing you where I bought it, but I believe I bought it somewhere around like here or something like that. And I don't know, it's for you to go decide and check it out. I just think that, you know, that, and this Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson are doing a spaces, I think starting in 10 minutes. And that's probably why they're going to pump. I don't know if they have any big news or not, but I just want to tell you what I'm doing. Again, since Tucker's been doing so good, it's a very similar type of thing. Tucker, of course, now has the relationship with Banter. And so I don't think this Joe Rogan has that same thing, but it could be a beta play on Tucker as well. It probably likely is to be something like that. So, I mean, I like the idea of Joe Rogan as a meme. I don't particularly like the way that I think Joe could have been much, and then the name too, Joe Rogan, I don't know. But anyway, I got my bags and they pumped, so I'm happy. Okay, let's take a look at this. At 6:45, so 4 hours ago, I share it, And 4 hours ago it was like, I don't know, it was somewhere like over here or something. So you can see that what I talk about here is that where obviously if I find something that I'm going to talk about in a video or very bullish on, I will typically share it in the VVIP group. If you guys are not in there, I suggest that you do it. You can mail to media@mvglobal.io and explain how you can add value. And right now that's how we're letting new people in. If you can add some value in any way, whether it's art, whether it's AI, I don't know, whatever, but something. It doesn't have to be crazy, but if you can add value, this is a way that we're accepting people in there now. Or you can use the Bybit link down below and follow those instructions. Either way, you can join the group. Something like that. So it's up quite a bit. But what is dog with hat? What is dog with hat? Good question. Good question. So I shared it when dog with hat was about $43 million market cap in the VVIP group, and then on the YouTube right here, as you saw, had pumped a bit since then at 60 something million, but now it's at 3 billion. It topped out at 5 billion, and I think me personally, I think in this bull run it'll probably go up to $60, $80. 80 is not unreasonable at all, considering that Doge went to 89 billion, and this seems to be the meme coin of choice for this run. It's still hilarious. I don't even know if they did the Las Vegas ball yet, but yeah, we've had good luck on this channel with memes so far. Gummy to me right now is a setup, and like I talked about in my show the other day. Why am I bullish on Gummy? Well, it's because it's the whole Banter family is behind it, and they all have bags, and they're gonna chill it. But also, the attention economy is what everyone wants, and so new memes looking to get a boost in social awareness are going to use this meme staking website that Gummy just bought, and in order to get some exposure from the Gummy and Banter communities. And generally, people maybe are more bullish on the memes that do use the platform. So if you're staking your Gummy over there, you're going to get airdrops. I believe that's how it works, airdrops of all the new memes that launch, or they're just going to use that revenue to buy back and burn the Gummy token. I don't remember exactly, but there is a mechanic in here that essentially is going to reward you for holding Gummy and give some exposure to new meme coins that use the platform, and they'll get exposure. And so it's just this kind of flywheel that's built in. I believe in flywheels very much. This is, again, Paid and Commonwealth have the best flywheels, and that's my thesis on Gummy. Yeah. Okay. So Tucker, I want to bring you back to the day. And you can see this is even right now. I just bought more. What is this? The 4 hour? So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Yeah. Right before I made the show, I guess, yesterday, I bought another bag. You can see here, 90,000. 90.7 thousand Tuckers. And remember, if you guys have been watching this for a while, we first got in over here. Way over here. Remember, this is like crazy. Was able to buy, 1.48 million, 1.2 million, like back in the day. But that was at 2.8 million. On the YouTube channel, and it was probably even cheaper, maybe around 2 million when I mentioned it in the VVIP group or so. So we're already at 55, almost 60x now. And this thing, in my opinion, is definitely, in my opinion, this is not financial advice. Do your own homework, make your own decisions, be a big boy or girl. But how do I feel? I feel this is definitely going to over $1 billion probably. If you haven't heard the spaces that with Rand was on Tucker Space, hosted by Boston Rob, I suggest that you go watch that so you can understand what's about to happen with this, and makes me extremely bullish.